we would love to hear from you. This is an open invitation. It's 2:15 right now. It will be 6 o'clock by the time we're done. All of you rooted in Oakland people who are heading to the game tonight, the invitation is there to call us on your way and tell us what it is in your mind you are hoping to accomplish tonight by going to the reverse boycott. I'll say this. I grew up a Giants fan, Dibs. This is very, very well known that I have no love lost for the Oakland A's as an organization. But today, I wake up and I say, for the first time ever, other than when I wanted them to beat the Dodgers in '88, for the first time ever, I'm rooting for something with regard to the A's organization. I hope that this lands in some sort of a way that the fans want it to. I hope that someday, very, very soon, John Fisher sells the A's. I am very skeptical, but I understand. Yeah. I understand people simply wanting to be seen and heard tonight. So maybe tomorrow everyone goes back to their lives and absolutely nothing changes, which is probable.
Right,
but I get it. They want to be seen and heard, and so, I got your back.
So how are you, by going there, seen and heard? I know that you'll be seen because it'll be news that there's actually 20,000 or so fans at an A's game.
There you go.
So from that standpoint, you'll be seen, but you'll be seen as fans who are there supporting the team, even if it's for one day. Now, if you're heard, are you going to be booing your home team? Because you're not going to do that. If you're an A's fan and you're showing up and Evan Giddings, the great producer for Steiny and Guru, is going. He's got his Marcus Semien jersey on.
His way.
He's locked in. So I understand that you want to be seen and heard, but I don't know how by giving your money to the very entity, the very person that you are trying to rally against, I don't know how that acts as a protest, because to me, the very definition of a reverse boycott is an endorsement, because a boycott, by the very definition, means we are not going to go. A reverse boycott means we are going to go. And the only way that you can go is by taking your money and giving it to the very person that you despise so much. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
I would love for somebody to explain it to me.
I think it's an investment.
888-957.
It's an investment.
9570. I don't understand it in terms of this being action that you think is going to either get about the results that you want, or how you can, if you're that reviled by ownership, how you can take your hard-earned money and give it to John Fisher. I don't understand it.
I get why you feel the way you do. Here would be my guess. My guess would be that the traditional boycott has been going on all along, and it hasn't worked.
Right.
So it's time to try something different.
A reverse boycott.
Well, I will say this, and I bet that everyone in Oakland gets this. If you go national on this conversation, and I will tell you that, for example, this is just one example. This morning, Bill Shaken of the LA Times immediately tweeted out, biggest show in baseball tonight's happening in Oakland. So there are eyes outside of the area on this. My guess would be, and I think it's an educated one on this, if you live in New York or Boston or Philadelphia, LA, Dallas, Chicago, you look at this whole situation and think to yourself, I don't really know how it got to where it is. People tell me that the ownership's awful. Sounds like some people blame the city as well. Plus, I've seen that ballpark. Looks like nobody gives a rip anyway. So you've got three entities in this conversation. You've got ownership, you've got government, and you've got the fans. And it very much plays to people elsewhere like none of them care. All three entities don't care. And so that's why they're leaving. Because the owners don't care about the fans don't care about the team, and the city doesn't care about anything but its interests. I think that's how it plays elsewhere. So there are fans tonight who have decided to try to let the world know that they do care about this baseball team.
Right.
And that they would show up if they were treated kindly. I totally get where you're coming from, and if you can't wrap your head around giving one penny to John Fisher, I completely understand. But I also get where this is coming from in terms of sending a new message.
I get it too, but this feels to me like the rest of Major League Baseball and the world at large will do what we all do after a mass shooting event or an American tragedy, which is thoughts and prayers. And by the next morning, we will all move on with our various lives. And any of the owners that are seeing this from other markets are going to look at this and go, oh, wow, good for John Fisher. Look at John. He got an extra 200 or 300 grand tonight. Congrats. I'm going to send John Fisher a congratulatory message, because if I'm another owner in another market, I don't really give a crap about Johnny, Oakland A's fan. All I care about is my money, my team. And you know what? If the A's move to Las Vegas, maybe at that point, I don't have to spend my money to support John Fisher and his A's anymore.
Right.
So I don't even want the A's in Oakland. If it's going to cost me money, if I'm the owner of another team, I'm not going to worry about little A's fan who shows up for one night.
I'm not saying the owners are going to care. I think John Fisher, it's clear
baseball's not going to care.
Yeah, well, they
Manfred's
don't.
not going to care.
Yeah, they don't. You're absolutely right. I think it's a big statement, though, to say that a disdain for John Fisher is such that if he's going to own it, you don't even want the team here at all, because someday he's not going to own it. Like, that's a big, big loss. Like a team. Good God, you grow up a fan of a team, if they're gone. You know, I mean, need I bring up Brandon Crawford's face when he was a little kid and that picture ended up in the Sporting Green?
Yeah.
Like, it's devastating if you're a fan of a team and they leave. So,
but you were talking about fans in other markets, and I'm looking at all the major websites right now, and not a one of them is reporting about, hey.
Well, it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah,
so
okay.
Let's see what it looks like, I think, is what people are waiting for. And no, I don't expect a baseball fan in Washington to wake up caring tomorrow. But I get where the Oakland fans, if you're an A's fan and you want to send a message, go ahead and do it. Think of all the protests that you just sort of said it. It's not like every single protest suddenly leads to change the next day. They very rarely do. But over time, you want to send a message out. And even if you are going to lose them, I think for some people it's this. It's like, look, if we're going to lose them, we're going out like this. We're going out letting everybody know we still care about the team. Don't make this about us. And I understand that. And
we care about them for one night.
Well, but maybe it's futile. No, you know that they care about them more than that. And for a lot of people, like one of the YouTubers just said, they're $12. The tickets are $12.
Not anymore.
So whatever they are, but that's a drop in the bucket if you're trying to send a message for a lot of people. Again, I get the line that you're drawing. I also get the line that they're drawing, which is I'm not letting you leave and blame it on us.
Right.
You want to leave, you blame it on you.
Well, anybody who's got
and
half
John
a clue
won't care.
understands where the blame lies. And if you're outside the market, one night of 21,400 is not going to change your mind in terms of blame. And you mentioned it. If you're outside this market, you probably couldn't name one Oakland Athletic. You probably don't care about the A's at all, other than the fact that they were, for a while, heading toward the worst record in the history of Major League Baseball. And now they're not anymore. They've won 6 in a row.
Doesn't mean they can't turn it around. By the way, I took note that I believe, did all 6 of those wins happen on the road? I wonder what the A's players feel.
I think they were at home last night.
Well, okay, last night. All right, so 5 of them. But yeah, I think good for the players. They get to play in front of people tonight. Good for them. That's better. I bet they're excited.
They're probably going to be nervous, Mark.
Maybe.
They're probably not going to play well. They won 4-3 over Tampa last night.
Can you imagine if one of them's mic'd up and they got to the dugout? They're like, dude, I don't know what all these people are watching me. It's very, very disconcerting.
Yeah, the crowd noises. Can you guys keep it down?
Yeah. I'll say this. John Fisher is terrible, and he deserves all of the finger pointing that everyone has given him. However, there's a huge piece of this that's not his fault. And no, I'm not pointing at fans or the city of Oakland. I'm pointing at structure. Somebody called in to Steiny and Goo. I was on my way in. They called Steiny and Goo, but they didn't want to go on the air. So they talked to Look. And so he came. He said, look, I'm going to come on the air, and I'll tell you what the caller said. And here's what he passed along, that the caller essentially said, hey, is this a business? Well, yes. Are they making money? Well, yes. Okay, so what's the problem? Well, caller who didn't want to come on the air, I'll tell you what the problem is. The problem is is we've got something structurally in sports that is different than other franchises. The word franchise, for instance, take example, a Subway sandwich shop. If a Subway sandwich shop is totally being mismanaged, and you walk in there and there's pieces of turkey and bologna all over the ground, and you're like, this is disgusting in here. I don't want to go here anymore. And nobody goes there anymore because the product inside is gross. The turkey has mold on it. You know what happens? Subway closes that franchise. You're out. The comp in sports is that when you do that, you get saved by all of the other owners.
In baseball.
And to a lesser degree, the other sports as well. Basketball, too. This is what, what's his name? The owner when LeBron left in Cleveland, or why the Chris Paul trade didn't go through to the Lakers because Dan Gilbert called the league, and what was he ticked about? I need my revenue sharing. You can't do this. So what happens in sports is all the other owners and the league as a whole, they save your ineffective, totally disingenuous butt. And that's what's happening here. That's why the A's have gone from $180 million up to $1.3 billion through no good effort of John Fisher. And that's why when you get that as a gift, in my opinion, that has to be reversed to your audience. You are a retail business. No other retail business gets to tick off all of their customers and get better. That's not how it works. That's why this is different than other businesses.
Well, that's exactly how it works, and that's why he does what he does. And that's why he trades away all his good players and slashes the payroll and raises the ticket prices, because that's exactly how this works. So, yeah, it's not his fault in terms of the structure of the league, but he's taken it to about 17 levels beyond the pale, and that's why, for me, going tonight or any night at all and giving him any money, to me, is lunacy.